Sit down.
Blessed be the name of the Most High God, the God whose I am and the God whom I serve. Blessed be his holy name forever. Nothing is without him, and he is everything. What you see, he created. What you touch, what you eat, what you feel, all created by him. The one God, the one power, the Holy One of Israel. He that watches over us and he created all that is, that keeps us safe and sound, and that knows the end even before the beginning. He is our God and he is our strength. He is the one that we worship. He is the one that we trust and none other. I say glory and honor and praise be unto his name forever. Let me begin by thanking you for receiving me today in my friend's home. I have never been here. This is the first time I have visited my friend's home. And what I have seen here today is something that I will comment on and I will come to in a moment. Let me also thank you for seeing fit to send a very powerful delegation to my mother-in-law's burial, which took place a few hours ago. And IPOB came there in full force. Numerous organizations, groups, political parties, and I must say, the governor of the state, senators, so many people, some from far and wide, all over the country, some from outside the country came today. We never expected this. And I am touched to the bottom of my heart, the kindness and the love that you have shown to us as a family, and that you have shown to us as a people. As much as you love me, I love you. And I will say that I will never forget the fact that IPOB stood with me and my family on our day of mourning when we buried Mama. Now, let me say this. This is a very difficult and sad day for me. I never thought I'd be here today. I thought maybe I'd wait till tomorrow, gather my thoughts, and then come back and see my friend's home and meet his family. But I was so touched with over 1,000 people you sent to the burial. And I said, let me just do this today. And of course, my friend and brother, Fani, who has been with me throughout, has always briefed me, has always encouraged me, and has always stood for me. I honor you and I thank you for everything you have done, both for myself, for Nnamdi, my brother, and for IPOB. Now, let me say this. I came here, and it's important because I know this is being recorded. Let us look at the events that took place here that day and night that they came. Because I've done the tour, and I don't know how many people have done this, but I think every single so-called leader in this country really ought to come and see for themselves what happened here. It's just not good enough to read about it and dismiss it, because it could be anybody that this is done to. And there's a universal law. You will excuse me for going on a bit. It's not often I have this privilege to be here. But I want to touch on some home truths today. And I want to explain a few things. I want to express myself why I am in my brother's home. Therefore, it's my home. We need to understand something. A violation against one, even the smallest and the weakest, is a violation against all. Yes. When you kill one child, one man or woman in God's universe, you have affected the dynamics of the universe itself. And you have caused hurt and pain to all. Yeah. What happened here on the day that they came is a travesty of justice. It is barbaric. It is unacceptable. It is wicked. Yes. Most importantly, it is totally and completely unnecessary. I will narrate the events as I understand it for the world to know. Because many of us in this country don't want to know. Usually it's the international community that are interested, but because they themselves have so many challenges of their own, and we are killing each other like animals every day all over the country, that they say, well, if they want to kill each other, let them kill each other. We're not interested anymore. That's the position. But the truth is, most Nigerians just don't know. And it's the knowledge of truth, that scares this government so much. That if the truth comes out, it would be their undoing. Now, I will tell you the truth. I will narrate the events. Most of you know them because you are here. But I will narrate those events for the outside world, what I have seen, what I have felt, what I have smelt, what I have sensed as a spiritual man and as somebody that considers himself to be a warrior from the minute I entered that gate. The feeling, the aura, the atmosphere is very surreal. And it's painful. And it's difficult to comprehend how any individual that is born of woman would do this to a family. No matter how much you disagree. No matter how much you feel that person is right or wrong. How could you? They came from the narrow road up there. I saw the cars out there. They came, they started shooting, a wall of bullets from there. Damaging every car, shooting up every car. You go there, you'll see for yourself, those cars are still there today. A wall of bullets, killing everybody in sight, shooting everything in sight. They stormed the gates, entered the compound, started shooting everything in sight. They broke the front door, went up the front door, went to the bedrooms. This is a palace. Not just a home. They desecrated the palace, went inside the front door, shooting as they moved at everything in sight, from room to room, breaking everything, shooting everything, beating everybody, all in army uniform. They went to the back of the house. The loyal dog called Jack, that was chained because this was the afternoon. The dog was chained. They went to the dog and shot it in the head. He barked and barked, hoping he could defend his home and the home of his master. But he was chained and he was just a target. Even the dogs were not spared. They killed the cooks. They killed members of the staff. They went to the boys' quarter, shot people there, went all over the house. They went to the place of worship, shot people there. When they got to the back of the house, I went there, I just saw now, as people were trying to climb over the back wall, they were shooting them down. May God forgive these people.
No.
Listen to me very carefully. I am not given to speaking lightly. And I'll tell you why I say may God forgive these people. You see, the judgments of God goes from generation to generation. A drop of innocent blood, you will pay from generation to generation. It is from the bottom of my heart, therefore, even those that committed this atrocity, even if and when they pay the price, because they will, may it not go to the next generation of their family and so on and so on. Because the innocent must not suffer or pay the price for the wickedness of the wicked. That's where I'm coming from. And anybody that knows or understands God will know that his wrath is irresistible. And it is something that you wouldn't even wish it for your worst enemy. When it comes, nobody stands. So going back to the narrative, they killed. At the end of the day, I am told that 28 people were slaughtered here on that day. Yes. 28.
Yes.
And the bodies were carried and taken away. Now, these are things I've been told.
Yeah.
I wasn't here. I didn't witness them. I have no reason to believe they're not true. And if they're not true, I'd be delighted if the military or the commander of the military or the president himself said, look, this is our narrative. That's not what happened. Because I believe strongly in discussion and dialogue. I'm not looking for a war. I'm a man of peace. I believe in love and peace, not in war. But there is one thing I will say. How can you have peace where there is no justice? How can you have peace where there is no justice? And that is the question that we need to ask ourselves. We want peace, but there must be justice. Nnamdi was taken from this palace, his home. He was abducted. He was taken away.
Yes.
From the day he was taken from his home, we don't know where he is.
Yes.
We haven't seen him. We don't know what has happened to him. Some say he has already been killed and they've buried him somewhere. Others say he's in the custody of the military and he's being kept somewhere. Others say he's out on a ship on the high seas and that when 2019 comes, they may know what to do with him. Yeah? I say, may God forbid. May God forbid. May God forbid. And I'll say this today, loud and clear. Let it be said, because you see, you only live once. Even when you kill a man, you can't kill the idea. Yes. And you cannot kill me or him unless God says our time has come. Yes. If you conquer the fear of death, the fear of torture and incarceration, the fear of persecution and disgrace and shame, and the fear of want and poverty, and the fear of tomorrow, when you conquer that fear, you have conquered all, and you become kings. Therefore, there is no fear for me, for Nnamdi, or for anybody that believes the cause of the righteous for fighting for justice. And we discard the fears, and we speak truth. Our sword is the sword of truth. And the truth is this. I say it again, and I say it loud and clear. You will not throw him into the sea. You will not kill him. You will not destroy him. And if you've done it already, pray hard, because there will be a day of repayment. Ever die in vain. And my prayer is that no trigger-happy military officer or policeman shot him in the head, or that they will tell us that he slipped on a bar of soap and dashed his head and therefore died. No, sir. It mustn't happen. But I'll also say this. When you kill a man in the cause of justice, you make him a martyr.
Exactly.
Nnamdi will not be killed. But I'll tell you something. For those that feel they've already finished him, they will have a shock tomorrow. A living martyr. You may have disappeared him, but he shall return. He shall return. So I'll tell you where I'm coming from. I may not share all the views that he has. We were in Kuje prison together. He inspired me enormously. How? With that Igbo courage that you people have. You know, you have a lot of courage.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
This was a man that had been, I won't even go into his experiences there. One day he'll come and write a book about him. But he was so filled with courage and strength, and said to me he's ready to die for his cause. That's a man. We may not agree on everything.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing. He inspired me and he inspires millions of people all over the country and indeed the world. And he is a real man. Now, what you are fighting for is something that you have done peacefully, without weapons. You have simply expressed an interest in a referendum being conducted in this part of the country to determine whether or not they wish to stay within Nigeria. It's called self-determination, and it's recognized in international law. I have never heard of IPOB killing anybody. I've never heard of IPOB threatening anybody. And that is why so many of us respect you and respect the fact that you are entitled to express yourself in a democracy where the rule of law is guaranteed, in a free society, and say, this is what I choose to believe in as an individual. You cannot take that right from me. And that is all you're saying. And you're not alone. Many all over this country share this aspiration, but you are courageous enough to voice it. That's the difference. It comes again, that Igbo courage. And I want to encourage you not to in any way be afeared or intimidated. You are who you are. God made you what you are. It doesn't matter how big the other man is, how much money he has, how much power he has. God can bring down the biggest down in 1 second. God can raise the smallest up within a second. Your time will surely come. That collective cause that so many have died for, IPOB youth killed over the last 3 years, day in, day out, all over this country. This is unacceptable. Not just IPOB youth, Shia Muslims killed all over this country. Unacceptable. Not just Shia Muslims and IPOB youths. Ordinary Christians in their homes in the northern part of this country, the Middle Belt, slaughtered morning, day, and night. Unacceptable. And now we have a situation where Fulani people, Fulani herdsmen, are slaughtering Hausas in Zamfara and in parts of the core north. This is unacceptable. And we have a president that appears to feel that he doesn't need to do anything about it. And instead, he encourages the Fulani herdsmen to slaughter. We have a president that has freed Boko Haram prisoners, commanders, that has paid huge ransoms to strengthen Boko Haram, to the extent that parts of the northeast have now been captured by Boko Haram once again. We have a president that is totally and completely insensitive to the plight of the Igbo people, to the plight of IPOB, to the aspirations and the plight of Southerners in this country, and indeed Middle Belters. And let me also say this, as somebody that's not from this part of the country. Do you know your own history?
Yes.
I wonder whether you know. Let me have some. Because I don't just speak, it's the Spirit that speaks through me. Let me tell you what you may not know, and I hope you know, about your own challenges, your own history within Nigeria. And we've all made mistakes in the past as various races or ethnic nationalities, no doubt about it. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. The Igbo has suffered more than any other ethnic nationality in the wider Nigeria. The Igbo has been killed more than any other ethnic nationality in the wider Nigeria. The Igbo has been marginalized, demonized, shamed, disgraced more than any other ethnic nationality in a wider Nigeria. The Igbo has suffered more than any other ethnic nationality in a wider Nigeria. And we have all of us, including the Yorubas, and I'm a proud Yoruba man, we have also suffered. But our suffering is not what the Igbos went through. You lost 2 million people in the Civil War. You lost, in addition to that, 1 million children starved to death in the Civil War. God in heaven looks at this nation and says, have you no remorse? That is an ocean of blood. That is genocide. That is a crime against humanity. And my soul, as a Nigerian, cries out to God to have mercy on us as a people for starving 1 million children. And until you have leaders in this nation that will stand up and say what we did was wrong in killing 1 million Igbo children and slaughtering 2 million Igbo people during the Civil War. Until they say that, God can never smile on this country. Let me tell you more.
May your days be long.
We're now in July. We're approaching July the 29th. These are all the things that Nnamdi Kanu knows so much about. He knows it inside out. We discussed it. Let me keep going. Before the Civil War, you may not know. Maybe your grandparents will tell you. But I will tell you today, they don't teach history in our schools. Yes. Simply because they don't want anybody to know the truth. You may not know. Let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you. Yes, there was a terrible night, January 15th, 1966, in which many people were killed. My father was the only person, he was the deputy premier of the Western region, the only one that wasn't killed that night. Many were killed, and it was wrong, because blood was shed. 6 months later, however, there was what they call the Northern Counter Coup. Yes. Now, it's interesting what happened that you need to know. That Northern Counter Coup. On the night of July 29th, 1966, they came out. And Northern officers slaughtered 300 Igbo officers in the Nigerian army. Historical fact. Never denied. In fact, they admit it proudly.
We will not forget.
That day, the Igbo head of state was slaughtered. And of course, his Yoruba host, Ironsi, his Yoruba host, Fajri, said, "You can't kill him without killing me. He is here in the West. I am his host. You can't take him without taking me." They said, "Okay, you want to go? You will go." They tortured them, beat them, brutalized them, and killed them. Stripped them naked. Know the truth today and let it set you free. They don't tell you that. Beat them. Tortured them. That is the Nigeria we're talking about. It didn't stop there. It goes on. Sadly, it goes on. And I say this with a broken heart. I say this with a broken heart because I am a Nigerian. It didn't stop there. It went on. A few months later, they unleashed the civilian population in the core north against the Igbos. Over 100,000 people were slaughtered in the space of a few months. All of Igbo extraction in the core north. They don't teach you that in the school. They went from hospital to hospital, sought out pregnant women, cut out the stomach, dashed the baby's head against the wall. They went from home to home, office to office, bank to bank, looking for Igbos, killing them, killing them, killing them. Until a man called Colonel Emeka Odumegu Ojukwu said, "Enough is enough. I draw the line in the east. Anybody that crosses that line enters Biafra, and nobody can come and kill us in Biafra." So he sent a signal, shouted out to all the Igbos in the north, and said what? Come home. They don't want you. Come home. They're killing you. Come home. And they started going home. They started going home on the trains, on the buses, and as they were going home at every point, every train station that they stopped, they will attack them with bows and arrows, with knives, with machetes, kill them all the more. Wow. I say this to you today, and I remind you of the history because you deserve to know the truth. I also tell you this, not to incite you to violence, not to incite you to hate, but rather for you to understand the history of this country and know that those of us that perpetuated this evil against you, we have a lot of soul searching to do. And I stand as a Nigerian and I say to you today, from the bottom of my heart, I speak for myself and I speak for millions, particularly from the South and the Middle Belt, that we are deeply sorry about what we did to you. It doesn't atone for what happened. But know this, there are some that do feel bad, not some, many. And you know the funny thing? exactly what was being done to the Igbos, or what was done to the Igbos at that time, is now being done to many of our Middle Belt brothers and the very same people today. And this is why I say, fear God despite the provocation. We must ensure that our cause is pure before God, because it is God that can fight this cause, and we must be courageous and strong. Every man and woman that was made by God has the right to aspire, to determine his own future, to pray to God and fight for a better country, better life for himself and his family. It's not a crime. And every man has the right to say, I've had enough. I've had enough. If I'm the wife, which is what Lord Lugard described the South, when they created the amalgamation of North and South, Northern and Southern protectors in 1914, he described the South as the rich wife, and he described the North as the poor husband. And he said, we shall unite them, marry them, and may that union live forever. You call me the rich wife, and the poor husband comes, he rapes me over and over and over again, takes my mineral resources from the Niger Delta, burns my homes in the Niger Delta, pollutes my rivers, and takes everything to them in the North. That's the rich wife. You go to the East, you kill them and slaughter them over the years, simply because they said, we don't want you to kill us anymore in the core North. You kill them. That is the plight of the rich wife. You come to the Southwest, you instigate one political party against the other until there's a crisis, and then you move federal forces in and suppress everybody and kill everybody. Oh, we suffered too. Oh, we did. The whole Western region crisis was manipulated from the North. You don't know that today. That is what caused it. And we killed each other. And we're still killing each other because we're being manipulated. This has to stop. But thank God for this, because I won't leave you without telling you that you have so much to appreciate God for, despite everything. Your plight is not as bad as the people of the Middle Belt. Let me repeat that. Your plight is not as bad as that of the Middle Belt. They have completely been decimated. They have lost their identity. They have lost mainly their faith. They have lost their strength. They speak a foreign language which is not theirs, which is Hausa. They dress like the Hausa man. They have lost their cultural heritage. They don't even know who they are anymore. The Hausas don't even know that they had a history before the Fulani came. And of course, the one that suffers the most is the Northern Christian. Everything was taken from them. That it's so hard for them to rise up now and lift up their heads, though many are trying. But the Igbo, despite what you have been through, you have refused to bow your heads in shame. That is why the whole IPOB dream, the resurrection of that aspiration, has come to fore, especially since Buhari came to power. There is nothing that is happening today that Nnamdi Kanu did not prophesy and predict in 2014. It's happening. It's happening before our very eyes. And since then, many of your people have been killed. As a human being and as a Nigerian, and as a man that believes that justice is a fundamental prerequisite to peace, I implore President Buhari and the federal government of Nigeria to please enter dialogue with IPOB and the people of the East. And if anybody tells him that IPOB is not the heartbeat of Eastern Nigeria today, that person is a liar. IPOB is the strength of the East. Without the IPOB agitation, the cry for restructuring from all our elders, every single one of them, would not be so loud today. And even that, they have rejected it. So what are we talking about? I urge the federal government, release Nnamdi Kanu, enter dialogue with IPOB. Stop calling them terrorists, because they're not. And let peace reign in the land. I urge IPOB to look to this country and say, we can fight for our aspirations in a peaceful way, as you have been doing, but that we will never allow ourselves to be destroyed, to be intimidated, or to be broken. And I say to the family of Nnamdi Kanu, keep the faith, Brother has been so strong. Keep the faith. His sister, who's sitting right here, has been an inspiration. I say keep the faith. Because what your brother is going through, many others in history have been through it. It happened to so many in the history of Europe, so many in the history of America, so many in the history of the world have paid a price for the freedom of their people. We are all ready to pay that price. I've come to the conclusion, I am ready to, any day, any time. Any day, any time. I am ready to pay that price. He's paying that price. And we've all paid a price. But we will not leave our father's land. We will not leave our father's land. For people from outside the country, we will not leave our father's land and our burial sites and our homes and our churches and our place of rest. We will not leave those places. Worshipping cows and want to graze their cows and take our land and rape our women and take all that is ours and crush our faith. We will never accept that. No, let me say this. I commend your cause and each and every one of you. And indeed the people, the great and proud people of the Igbo nation, Indibu. I commend you into the hands of the living God. I decree and I declare that each and every one of you that has suffered, the Lord will soothe your pain and heal your wounds. The Lord will vindicate you. And the Lord will give you life. God will give you strength. No matter what they throw at you, you shall stand. God bless you. God be with you. Once again, thank you. We are I